Okay, now if this is the case, what is the case? Well, if experiencing and feeling is true of our body and mind, which are part of the world, then Whitehead asks us, what does this mean essentially for the rest of the world? Okay, put differently, if we are exemplifications of the world, okay, then the world must be conceived as an experiencing and feeling world. And that seems to follow almost logically once we realize that our bodies are part of the world, the most intimate dimension of the world that we know of. Okay, now think of your dog and your cat. They're in the same world as you are. It seems that we must say that. Okay, do they experience? Do they feel? I mean, look at these two. Are they feeling agents? Do they experience in some way? Okay, it may be remarkable for you to know that Descartes, who we just mentioned, in some dimensions of modern philosophy, denied that animals feel. Descartes has this horrendous statement where he said you can even cut into a dog and all you'd find is essentially mechanical clock-like parts and that are devoid of feeling. But it seems just so barbaric from our current knowledge and current perspective. I don't think any one of us would deny feeling or experience to our animals. I would assume that in a group like this, we have a lot of animal lovers in the house, so that's great. Now, what if we go a bit lower, as it were? What about, say, squirrels and mice? Okay, what about other small rodents? Are we going to deny them elements of experience, elements of feeling? Okay, most of us wouldn't. The data seems wildly clear that there's creativity, there's novelty in these experiencing animals that must demand that we extend to them a certain level of experience, right? It's not human experience we're giving them, but it is experience nevertheless. Okay, if you followed me that far, let's go a little bit further. Okay, if we exemplify an experiential world, we have to ask then how far does experience and feeling go? It goes from the dogs to our cats to mice and to squirrels and rodents that we may love. Well, does it get cut off at some point in nature? And if one's willing to say that it does get cut off, well, how on earth does it get there in the first place? Right? How does experience emerge from non-experience? Okay, this is going to be an important question we'll consider at the end of our session today. Let's go lower even. Okay, what about subatomic particles? Electrons, protons, neurons, and other fundamental realities. Okay, in quantum physics, quarks, gluons, other subatomic nuclei. Okay, are they devoid of experience too? All right. Continue the experiment. What about quantum physics, right? In quantum physics, fundamental units are not pellets of matter in any real sense. Matter dissolves into units or bursts of energy. Okay, what about internal to that energy? Okay, is there a rudimentary form of feeling, experience, even to use the term we used earlier, emotion? Does a sense of emotion and feeling go down even to that fundamental level? It's a great question. And Whitehead answers yes. Okay, he says experience goes all the way down in nature. Okay, it's an extraordinary claim. But for the longest time, we have thought in the modern world, certainly because of materialism and scientific materialism at that what is fundamental is pulpy dead matter in some way, right? That is what we're all made of in some sense. But if that's the case, again, we face the problem of how on earth are we experiencing beings? So Whitehead says experience goes all the way down in nature to the most fundamental elements of what there is. Okay, and this, according to David Ray Griffin, is Whitehead's pan-experientialism. Pan meaning Greek from all or everything, experientialism. Okay, everything is experiencing all the way down to the most fundamental dimensions of reality. So another way to put it is that inner experience or subjectivity, an interiority, goes all the way down in nature to the most fundamental level of reality. So remember that we've gotten to this wild conclusion, and it is wild, by essentially working backwards from our experience, okay? It's what in philosophical jargon I like to call retrospective induction, right? Moving backwards from our own experience all the way down to the world. And it has to be the case, if we've done this, that there is a sort of spectrum or a continuity of experience at different levels throughout the natural world. Okay, so look at Whitehead's statement here, for example. Okay, that the energetic activity considered in physics is the emotional intensity considered in human life. Okay, if it's the emotional intensity in human life, it's not utterly devoid of emotive dimensions, even at the level of physics. Okay, and again, he's extending imaginative language too, talking about the quarks and fundamental particles as having experience, having emotion. Okay, but again, he's reasoning backwards in a deep way. Okay, put differently, the emotional appetitive, right? Appetite having to do with this emotive feeling. Elements in our conscious experience are those which most closely resemble the basic elements of all physical experience. So experience for Whitehead goes all the way down in nature.